Okay, so ready to jump into a deep dive on a pretty cool career.
Yeah.
We're talking rolling stock, engineering, drafting.
Yeah.
The people who take, like, the ideas for trains and locomotives from the engineers' heads
Right.
and turn those into the blueprints that make them real.
Exactly. It's a crucial role in the whole world of real transportation.
And if you're thinking of going for a job like that, gearing up for an interview,
Oh, yeah.
we're here to kind of give you a little bit of that insider knowledge.
Absolutely. We're going to dig into some real questions from RoleCatcher's resources.
Oh, nice.
And I'll give you some behind-the-scenes tips on what those interviewers are really trying to figure out so you can craft some answers that'll really impress them.
So not just what to say, but like what they're really wanting to hear.
Precisely.
I love that.
Okay.
Let's just imagine you're sitting there in the interview room
Oh, yeah.
and they hit you with this. Can you describe your experience with CAD software?
Okay, yeah. Classic question. Seems straightforward, right?
Yeah, you would think.
But they're not just asking if you know how to turn the computer on.
Right.
They want to gauge your level of proficiency. How deep does your knowledge go?
So, like, can you do more than just the basic stuff?
Yeah. Have you mastered those advanced tools that you need to handle complex rolling stock designs? That's what they're looking for.
So, like, instead of me just being like, oh, yeah, I know AutoCAD, I should give them some examples.
Exactly. Mention the programs you're comfy with, of course, but then give them a real-world picture.
Okay.
Like, I used this specific feature in Acacia to solve this tricky design problem on a locomotive's braking system.
Oh, so specific.
That shows you're not just clicking buttons, you really understand how to use CAD to make things happen.
Gotcha. And would you say there are any, like, industry-specific programs they'd be looking for?
Oh, for sure. Like, Acacia is huge in this field. It's known for being able to handle those super intricate details and the massive assemblies you get with rail vehicles.
Makes sense.
So if you've got that on your resume, flaunt it. And even if you don't, just saying you're eager to learn shows initiative, right?
Yeah, like, I'm ready to dive in and learn the tools of the trade.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, so next question. This one feels like they're trying to get a sense of how detail-oriented you are. All right.
Oh, yeah.
They ask, how do you ensure the accuracy and completeness of your drawings?
Big one.
Because, like, accuracy in this kind of job, it's not just about aesthetics.
No way. It's about safety.
Yeah.
It's about functionality. One tiny error on a drawing could have huge consequences in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
They want to know you've got a system for catching those mistakes before they become a problem.
So I should basically walk them through my quality control process.
Exactly. Do you have a checklist you go through? Do you use any software tools to double-check your work?
Yeah.
Maybe you even have a colleague review your critical designs. Just be clear and organized. Show them you take this seriously.
Oh, and I bet mentioning industry standards and regulations would be a good move here.
You bet. Like, knowing the guidelines from the Federal Railroad Administration or European Union shows them you're not just drawing lines on a page, you're thinking about safety and compliance.
It's that extra layer of I understand the real-world implications kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right, next up, let's tap into our passion for trains a bit. What about when they ask, describe your experience with rolling stock systems and components?
Ah, yes. This is where your enthusiasm gets to shine.
Right.
They want to see that you're not just familiar with the parts, but you understand how those systems all work together, how your drawings make those systems a reality.
So not just like, I know what a wheel is.
Aha, right.
More like, I can tell you all about the design considerations for different braking systems.
Exactly. Get specific. Talk about couplers, bogies, whatever you've worked on. The more detail you give, the more your passion and knowledge will come through.
And any experience with, like, the new stuff, high-speed rail, electric locomotives, that's got to be a bonus, right?
Oh, absolutely. It shows you're on top of the latest innovations. You're not stuck in the past.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can come in handy.
Oh, yeah. How so?
You can actually scan that job description and highlight keywords about specific systems or technologies.
Oh, wow.
So you know what to emphasize in your answers.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet for that specific job.
Exactly.
I like that.
Okay, moving on to a question that's all about problem solving. They might say, can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a design problem?
This is a good one.
Right, because it's not just about knowing the technical stuff, it's about how you think.
Exactly. They want to see that you can handle those curveballs that inevitably pop up.
So, like, pick a specific example and walk them through it.
Yep, set the scene. Tell them how you identified the problem, the steps you took to solve it. Did you have to work with other people? Really show off your analytical skills here.
I bet they'd love to hear about a time you went above and beyond, like caught a potential problem before it even became a thing.
Absolutely. Being proactive is a huge plus.
Yeah.
Even if your example wasn't some groundbreaking solution, talk about what you learned from it.
Oh, yeah. Shows that you're always growing and learning.
Growth mindset is key.
Love it. Okay, let's talk compliance. This feels like a big one in the rolling stock world. They'll probably ask, can you describe your experience working with regulatory agencies and standards?
Safety is paramount in this industry. They need to know you understand the rules.
So if I've worked on projects that had to meet those standards, like from the Federal Railroad Administration or European Union, I should definitely mention those, right?
Absolutely.
But what if I haven't had direct experience with the agencies themselves?
Then focus on your knowledge of the standards. Have you studied them? Have you incorporated them into your design process?
So even theoretical knowledge shows you're aware of the importance.
Exactly. It shows you're ready to work within those frameworks.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can point out any specific agencies or standards mentioned in the job description.
Oh, that's helpful.
So you can do some research and be ready to talk about them.
Smart. All right, shifting gears a bit. This next one might seem a little unexpected for a drafting role.
Okay, lay it on me.
They might ask, can you describe your experience with project management?
Interesting. What are they trying to figure out with that one?
It's about seeing the bigger picture. They want to know if you're organized, if you understand how projects flow.
Makes sense.
Even if you haven't had an official project management title, you've probably had to manage your own work, meet deadlines, maybe even coordinate with others on a team.
So it's about showing I can juggle multiple tasks, prioritize, and deliver on time.
Exactly.
Okay, I can work with that.
Think back to projects where you had to plan, track progress, maybe handle unexpected changes.
And if I know about things like Agile or Waterfall, that's even better.
Oh, yeah. Shows a deeper understanding of project life cycles.
Got it. And hey, wouldn't you know it, RoleCatcher's AI can be helpful here too.
Really?
Yeah, it can highlight any project management keywords in that job description.
Okay.
Gives you a heads up on what to focus on.
Awesome. Love a good heads up.
Yeah.
Now, let's leap back to CAD for a sec. With 3D modeling becoming so important, they might ask, can you describe your experience with 3D modeling software?
Yeah, that's a natural progression, right?
Totally. 3D modeling gives you better visualization. You can catch clashes early on, do simulations.
Yeah.
It's crucial for complex designs. So if you've got experience with software like SolidWorks, Autodesk Inventor, or even CATIA for 3D modeling, make sure they know about it.
But what if I'm not, like, a pro at 3D modeling yet?
That's okay. Any coursework, personal projects, even online tutorials you've done to learn the basics can show that you're interested.
Okay, so willingness to learn is key.
Huge. Demonstrating that you're always willing to learn new skills, it's a big plus in any field.
Makes sense.
Are you ready for a deeper dive into the technical stuff?
Bring it on. I'm feeling good.
Okay, good, because this one's all about materials. Can you describe your experience with materials selection and specifications?
Ah, yeah. This is getting into the nitty-gritty of engineering.
For sure. It's not just about shapes on a screen. They want to know you understand how different materials behave, how to pick the right one for each part of the rolling stock.
Okay, so what kind of examples would really knock their socks off?
Think about times you had to make tough decisions. Did you have to choose between steel and aluminum for a component, factoring in things like weight, strength, and corrosion resistance?
Gotcha.
Or maybe you had to pick the right kind of plastic, balancing durability and cost.
Okay. But what if I haven't had, like, a ton of hands-on experience with this yet?
Focus on the fundamentals then.
Okay.
Can you explain why tensile strength is so important for certain parts, or why corrosion resistance matters for exterior components?
Right. Even that basic understanding shows I've got a grasp of the concepts.
Exactly. And if you know about industry standards for materials like ASTM or ISO standards, mention those too.
Shows I'm committed to best practices.
Exactly. And as always, RoleCatcher's AI can help you figure out which specific materials or standards they're looking for in the job description.
It's like having a little research assistant pointing you in the right direction.
I like it. Okay, get ready for a technical term here.
Right, here we go.
This one might sound intimidating, but it's really all about precision. Can you describe your experience with geometric dimensioning and tolerancing? GD&T for short.
Okay, GD&T. Break it down for me. Why is it such a big deal?
It's basically the language that engineers and manufacturers use to communicate about Tolerances?
Tolerance is like how much variation is allowed in the dimensions.
Exactly. Tiny but super important. It makes sure all the parts fit together perfectly and everything works the way it's supposed to, even if there are slight variations during manufacturing.
So they're really asking if I can make drawings that are super clear, no room for misinterpretation.
You got it. If you've used GD&T symbols and principles, tell them about it. Describe projects where you've applied them, the software you used, the complexity you dealt with.
And if my GD&T experience is still a bit limited,
then just emphasize why those tolerances are so important in engineering.
could you give me an example of, like, a basic understanding that shows I'm aware?
Sure, like explaining why we need to allow for those small variations in manufacturing.
Okay.
Because getting things absolutely perfect is pretty much impossible, right?
Right.
Or being able to talk about the concept of a datum reference frame.
Which is like a starting point for measurement.
Exactly.
Okay, good to know.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you brush up on those GD&T concepts if you need to.
It's like having a study buddy who knows exactly what's on the test.
I like the way you think. All right, ready for one more?
Hit me.
Okay, last one for this round. Can you describe your experience leading a team of drafters?
Okay, so this one's more for people aiming for leadership roles, right?
Exactly. If you've been a team lead, now is the time to shine.
I can see that.
Talk about your approach. How do you delegate tasks? How do you motivate your team?
Right.
How do you handle conflicts?
Make sure everyone's working together smoothly.
Exactly. Even if you haven't had an official leadership title, think about times you've stepped up and shown leadership qualities.
So even things like mentoring a colleague or taking initiative on a group project, those count.
Absolutely. They demonstrate that you've got the potential to lead.
Awesome.
And if you've got concrete examples of how your leadership made a positive impact, like improving efficiency or meeting tough deadlines, definitely share those.
Because numbers speak louder than words sometimes.
That's right.
And just a reminder to our listeners, RoleCatcher's AI can help you figure out which keywords related to leadership are important for that specific job.
So you can tailor your answers accordingly.
Exactly. Make yourself stand out as a perfect candidate.
Precisely. All right, welcome back. I hope all those interview questions haven't scared you off, because now we're going to take a step back.
Yeah, we got to look at the bigger picture, right?
Exactly. We're talking about your actual career as a rolling stock engineering drafter. What does that look like? Where can you go with it?
I like it. So where are we going to find those answers?
Well, RoleCatcher has this fantastic career guide that we're going to tap into.
Oh, nice.
It's full of insights on how to navigate this career path.
Perfect. Let's dive in.
So first things first, the guide really emphasizes the importance of hands-on experience.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's the foundation for a successful career in this field. You can read all the textbooks and ace all the online courses you want, but nothing beats actually applying that knowledge to real-world projects.
It's where you solidify your skills and get that industry know-how.
Right. So how do you get that experience? Well, internships are a great place to start.
Especially if you're a student or if you're coming from a different field.
Yeah, exactly. It's a structured learning environment where you get to work alongside experienced professionals on real projects.
I like it. What else does the guide suggest?
Well, of course, you've got your entry-level positions at engineering firms, manufacturing companies, maybe even directly with rail vehicle manufacturers.
So you can really immerse yourself in the industry.
Exactly. And another thing that's often overlooked is networking.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Going to industry events, conferences, trade shows, all that.
Yeah, it's not always about what you know, but who you know.
That's right. But of course, what you know does matter. And the rolling stock industry is always changing, always evolving.
So how do we keep up? Make sure our skills are still relevant.
That's where continuous learning comes in.
Got to stay sharp.
Exactly. The guide talks about taking advantage of all those online courses, workshops, seminars, all that good stuff. Keep those skills fresh.
So like mastering some new CAD software or learning about the latest in high-speed rail technology.
Perfect examples. It's all about being a lifelong learner, right?
Oh yeah, in this field, there's always something new to discover.
Absolutely. And this continuous learning can also lead to specialization.
Oh, interesting.
As you gain experience, you might find yourself drawn to a particular area of rolling stock design.
Yeah, the guide mentions things like specializing in high-speed rail or freight locomotives or passenger carriages.
Yeah, finding your niche, becoming the expert in a specific area.
And I'm guessing that can lead to some cool career advancements.
Oh, for sure. You might move into more senior drafting positions, tackling bigger projects with more responsibility.
Or maybe even transitioning into related fields like engineering or design.
Exactly. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
I like that. But how do we actually demonstrate our expertise to potential employers, though? How do we show them what we're capable of?
Well, a portfolio is key.
Makes sense.
Gather up all your best work, technical drawings, design projects, anything relevant from internships or previous jobs.
It's like tangible proof of your skills.
Exactly. And nowadays, it's so easy to create a digital portfolio that you can share online.
Yeah, no more lugging around those giant binders.
Exactly. The guide also talks about building a professional online presence, like a personal website or a strong LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, makes you more visible to recruiters.
Exactly. It's all about putting yourself out there. And speaking of making things easier, let's circle back to RoleCatcher and its AI tools.
Oh yeah, good idea. We talked about how it helps with interview prep, but it's not just about that, right?
Oh, no, not at all. Remember those applicant tracking systems, the ATS, that so many companies use to filter resumes?
Yeah, those things can be a real pain.
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you optimize your CV or resume to match the specific keywords those systems are looking for.
So it's like a secret weapon to get past the robots and into the hands of a real human.
Exactly. And remember that AI feedback feature we talked about, the one that analyzes your interview answers?
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, you can use that to fine-tune your resume and cover letter as well.
Oh, wow. So it's like a virtual career coach.
Exactly. It's available 24/7 to help you put your best foot forward. And if you want to unlock all of RoleCatcher's AI superpowers, they have the Copilot AI subscription.
I've heard good things about that.
It's got even more advanced features like video practice with AI feedback.
So you can really nail those virtual interviews.
Precisely. Okay, now I want to look ahead a little bit. What are your thoughts on the future of the rolling stock industry?
Oh, that's a great question. I think high-speed rail is going to be huge.
Oh, absolutely.
We're already seeing these networks expanding all over the world. It's faster, it's more efficient, and it's more sustainable.
Yeah, and as those networks grow, we're going to need more skilled rolling stock engineering drafters who can design and develop the next generation of high-speed trains.
And don't forget about electric locomotives.
Oh, yes. They're much quieter, cleaner, and way better for the environment than their diesel counterparts.
Yeah, and as the world shifts to cleaner energy, they're going to be crucial.
Absolutely. And there are all the digital technologies that are changing the game, too.
Like computer-aided design, 3D printing, simulation software, all that stuff.
It's making the design process so much more efficient.
Yeah, and it's opening up so many new possibilities for innovation.
Exactly. It's a really exciting time to be in this field. If you're thinking about a career as a rolling stock engineering drafter, the future is looking very bright.
I agree. It's a field with a lot of challenges, but so many opportunities to make a real difference.
Exactly. With the right skills and the right mindset, you can help shape the future of transportation.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot today, haven't we? Interview questions, career paths, the future of trains. It's been a wild ride.
It has.
But before we wrap up this deep dive, I kind of want to leave you with something to think about.
Oh, I like that. Little food for thought.
Exactly. Like we've talked about the technical skills, the problem solving, even leadership.
Right.
But there's this other crucial element for any rolling stock engineering drafter.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Understanding that balance between innovation and safety.
Ah, yes, that's a big one. As the industry keeps pushing the boundaries, coming up with new tech, new designs, how do we make sure safety doesn't get left behind?
It's going to be a tough balancing act, right?
It is. We want to embrace those advancements, make trains faster, more efficient, more sustainable.
Right.
But we can never, ever compromise on the safety of the people on board, the passengers, the crew.
It's a huge responsibility.
It is. And it's something that every aspiring rolling stock engineering drafter needs to think about right from the start.
From day one.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just checking the boxes and following the regulations.
Like that, a mindset.
It is. It's about weaving safety into every single design decision you make, anticipating potential risks, understanding the consequences.
And designing systems that are just inherently safe and reliable.
Exactly. So as you move forward in this field, here's the question I want you to think about.
Okay, hit me.
How are you going to contribute to that quest for innovation in rolling stock design while always keeping safety at the forefront?
That's a great question.
It's going to shape your whole career.
It will. And honestly, I think it applies to so many fields beyond just engineering.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, as you're stepping into this world, remember, you're not just designing trains, you're shaping the future of transportation, making it safer and better for everyone.
Exactly. And we have no doubt that you're going to do amazing things, contribute to this industry in incredible ways.
We believe in you.
And hey, Don't forget, RoleCatcher is here to support you every step of the way, from those tricky interview questions to navigating your career path.
They've got your back. Well, folks, that's about it for this deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. We wish you the best of luck on your job search and in your future career as a rolling stock engineering drafter.
Go out there and make those amazing trains.